Right. So, welcome to episode 62 of No Holds Barred Pod. That is Sal Dodgen still.
And that is still Don McGowan. Welcome one and all again. Welcome to part
back.
2 of, oh God, there's a lot of news.
Yeah, if you hadn't noticed, I'm sure you have, last week or so, we've done 2 shorter episodes, sort of one after the other, because feels like there's just too much to get through in one app, and then we'd end up putting out like 2-hour episodes, wouldn't we, every time we
yeah, people get bored.
Yeah, so
there's only so much you want to do your ironing, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, true, exactly. Yeah, lots of people listen to us whilst they're doing their household chores. I've been reliably informed. So.
I like a pod in the bath.
Do you?
Just saying. Yeah, I do.
I have them on pretty much all the time now whenever I'm doing anything. Unless I'm writing, I can't write with other noise in the background. But yeah. God,
who's I listened to? I listened to it's on Spotify the other day. Rob Brydon interviewing Ross Noble. Oh my God, it was a howl. An absolute howl. Yeah.
Oh, Ross Noble's hilarious.
Just
I really like him. Yeah. I might have to try and dig that up.
I mean, you think we ramble? Fuck, you know. You think we can go off on a tangent?
Yeah.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Definitely going to have a listen to that. Yeah, talking of pop culture sort of stuff, I just wanted to shout out to the movie I saw last week, because I realised we didn't really talk about it on Monday. Project Hail Mary.
It did lead to a confusing text conversation there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, I told Sal that I'd gone to see Project Hail Mary, and Sal assumed I was talking about, what was it, far right march with Jesus.
I'd just been to the far right thing, hadn't I? And then you said I've been to cinema, and I said, oh, what did you watch? I sent you a couple of pictures or something. Then you put Project Hail Mary, and I went, yeah, no, we had incense and everything. Don's like, what?
You sent me the picture of AI Jesus that they were carrying around. And I thought you'd like to send it to someone else. But anyway, it was a great
It was very funny when we realised.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
It's a sci-fi. I mean, I don't want to say much about it because it will give it a lot of it away, because I never read anything about films before I go to see them. I hate being spoiled. So this had a lot of twists and turns. It was a long film. It was nearly 3 hours, but it was one of the better sci-fi films I've ever seen. So yeah, well worth a look. Go and see that. Ryan Gosling's exceptionally funny. It's really, really funny. I was laughing the whole way through. That's the good thing about it.
That's good.
It's a serious sci-fi film, but with Ryan Gosling being funny as well.
So like a Deadpool tone?
Or not quite as flippant as that. It's quite serious, but he's just funny in the seriousness. You know, it's a quite a dark tale about the Earth kind of coming to an end, as a lot of yeah. And the sun basically is being drained of its sunlight, and he has to.
Oh, for the love of God! Haven't we got enough problems? I don't want to start thinking about the sun being an issue. Sod off.
But it's very light-hearted.
It's not on. I was light-hearted. It sounds at the end of humanity.
It is dark, but it's really funny. It's great. It's meant to be, though. It's meant to be. It's not just me being weird, laughing at the death of the sun. Oh, it's the heat death of the sun. This is hilarious. Anyway, we've digressed into some weird time and space there. So it's worth cracking on with our.
I need to just fess up to the listeners and viewers. We didn't realise when we set up to record that we'd done it during the debate between Andy Twelves and Matt GPT about his book. So I've got it on in the background on mute so that I can rewind it afterwards. But it's just the fact that it's being chaired by Miriam Cates.
I know. Oh, it's just...
Poor Andy Twelves, that's all I'm saying.
I know. I'm going to watch.
So if you see me smirking, I'm not watching, obviously, because I can't. But it baffles me.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's something I was going to talk about in our little Reform Roundup.
I mean, I don't know if there'd be anybody suitable to chair it there, to be honest, but not her.
Yeah, I didn't even know she was a presenter on it, to be honest, until it just came on there. But I just saw. Oh, where is it? Yeah, so we'll crack on with our Reform Roundup. I may as well start with Matt Goodwin because he put out a defense of his book in the Thursday of this week behind a Daily Mail paywall, obviously. So, most people won't read it, and he's a coward. So, but I read it because, it's easy to read these things if you know how. I'm not paying Daily Mail subscriptions, but you can get around them. But he just basically went on at length about woke, as usual, about how his using himself as a reference was fine.
Sorry.
You all right?
I'm just having a rest.
Okay. Rest from your glasses. And he basically just made it worse. And it led to...
You surprised me.
Yeah. It led to an online spat between him and Tim Montgomery. Now, did you see that?
Tory on Tory.
Reform on Reform, Tory. Well, ex-Tory on ex-Tory. Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter, does it?
Pond life on pond life.
Like, Tim Montgomery said, the whole controversy over Matt Goodwin's book reminds me of the early warning sign that Rachel Reeves' dodgy footnotes provided about her. That doesn't make sense. But anyway, he said Reform Party should now fully investigate Mr. Goodwin's book. If there are repeated examples of factual error, he should be removed from the party. This is Montgomery, who's, in case anyone doesn't know, a member of Reform.
No Reform.
Yeah. Matt Goodwin said, what Reform should stop doing is taking Tory wets like you. This is on Twitter in the public.
Handbags!
I know. That's exactly what I wrote. Handbags at dawn. And he said, I've responded to my critics. All you do is criticise Reform and our campaigns. I've no idea why you're even in Reform unless it's to try and weaken it. So he's called him a Tory wet and a Tory spy in one tweet there. It went on for a couple more, but it got a bit less.
Can you be both?
Exciting.
I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was very amusing that, we've all predicted, the Reform fractures are going to happen,
He's very triggered, and Andy 12s is very chilled.
Yeah, Andy 12s. I've watched a couple of him. He was on Politics Joe during the week, I think.
Yeah, he's been on him for a while. Yeah,
he's been with him, but he was talking specifically about this, and he's he's very it's very cool and calm and collected. So yeah, it'd be interesting to watch. But then Goodwin went on and on and on and on, basically, and started slagging everyone off in his defense of his book. And he said, yes, sure, some of my references were used with ChatGPT, blah, blah, blah. But then I think my favourite bit is his defense of making up quotes from Roman philosophers.
Cicero.
Yeah, Cicero and Livy. And he basically said, now have a small number of historical references in the book, such as what the Roman statesmen Cicero and Livy said 2,000 years ago, turned out to be imperfect. Yes, and and where that's the case, those quotations will be corrected. For instance, it appears I was incorrect to suggest Cicero once said the state should begin with the people closest to us, and what he actually said was the Latin. So it's just, he's
Mealy mouthed whinging.
He's saying they turned out to be imperfect, which he means is a lie, and it just, that's him making stuff up, and he says he's going to correct it in his book somehow, but he's already self-published X amount of copies. I doubt very much while he's going to recall all those books that he's paid himself to publish, so that's another lie. And I said, when you hit rock bottom, Matt, you need to stop digging because you're making it worse for yourself. But now he's on telly debating.
Isn't it a quote from Socrates?
Well, I wrote it was a quote from Diogenes, but yeah.
Nearly.
My favourite quote from Diogenes, when you hit rock bottom, stop digging. To which a very witty follower of mine on Twitter replied, he said he can't wait for the head-to-head against. He said, as St. Thomas Aquinas once put it, we ain't singing, we bring in drama. Fuck you and your motherfucking mama. I said that's my favourite ever Thomas Aquinas quote. I mean, That was RTR swipe on Twitter, by the way. I may as well give some credit where it's due, because that's very funny. But yeah, I mean, Goodwin's just digging holes that he can't get out of. So he's just, someone needs to step in and just have a word with him and say, mate, come on, this is enough.
This might finish him off, though. He's very unhappy.
Is he? Good.
Yeah.
I think we should put in, or maybe we'll save it to the end, but we'll see Bad Montefiore's clip of the very hungry
that's very good.
Written by ChatGPT in the style of Matt GPT. So we'll put that in.
That's really fun.
I'm sure Will allow me, but I'll double check with him. But yeah, it's absolutely hilarious. So stick around for that at the end. Other reform news. Quick fire reform news. Reform Scotland have lost 7 councillors in 5 days. Good going. Malcolm Offord, their leader, who was very much talked up by Farage when he defected from the Tories.
He's quite new, isn't he?
Yeah, January. He was a Lord.
Yes,
Tory
I was going to say 2 months.
Yeah, he was a Tory peer and resigned his peerage to move to Reform to become the leader of Reform Scotland. And he's been outed in the press this week by the Daily Record, I think it was, of making a really, really horrible racist and homophobic joke in public at the expense of George Michael and his ex-partner. So there's basically every politician in Scotland is calling for him to step down because it is disgusting. I read the joke; it's grim. Nobody should be saying stuff like this, let alone politicians.
Jeez, so bad week for Reform, really, isn't it?
It's been quite a bad week for Reform. So there was that. So Scotland, they've lost councillors in Wales. They've really tanking in the polls in Wales ahead of the Senedd elections, which is coming up next month, isn't it? April, yeah. So not long ago to go for that. Farage has pledged to overturn the smoking ban in pubs. Like, I mean, when did the smoking ban come in? 2008, I think. You know, it's a long time ago.
It's over 20 years. Well, it was over 20 years ago in Ireland.
Yeah, I think it was 2007, 2008. That's about 20 years ago-ish for us. But yeah, whatever. But I think, like, since Starmer announced on Wednesday after PMQs that he's going to ban crypto donations to political parties, which is a huge step. And
he's starting to sue them, isn't he?
Yeah, Farage has come out and said he's going to sue. Of course he is. He can't sue the government for legislation. I mean, doesn't work like that, mate. We're not American.
Notwithstanding, it's not Farage doing it, is it? It's somebody up his ring piece.
Yeah,
directing him to do it.
Assuming, yeah. The crypto billionaire that keeps sending Farage loads of money. But I just thought, well, maybe this is like the overturning the smoking ban is like he's suddenly panicked because he's thinking, oh shit, I can't get overseas crypto donations anymore. I need to go back to the old school kind of homegrown kind of lobbies, smoking, fox hunting, fracking, oil,
smacking women around, racism.
Yeah, driving without a seatbelt.
Real retro 70s.
Yeah, workhouses for children. I'd expect all of that out of Farage recently because he needs to get more money from somewhere because he has he's just, they're circling the drain. Are they circling the drain? Not quite, but they're really struggling at the moment, Reform, and the polls are going down.
Well, the polls are going to go down because Restore's a thing now, isn't it? So he's lost a load of his mutants to Rupert.
Yeah,
as long as they hate each other, we're sound. If they make up and decide to come together, we've got an issue.
There was
as long as Trump's around.
I saw a couple of whispers in the week about them making up, but I can't see it. I don't know. James McMurdoch's going to go back into Reform again. I read this week that came out of Pippa Crerar, actually. I think so.
A lot of female MPs are very unhappy about it.
Yeah, I bet they are. I'm not surprised. He's still under investigation for inciting a racist pylon on Twitter as well. Do you remember that? He that's one of the reasons he got binned off.
Oh yeah, he just put N dot, didn't he?
Which then turned into the N word underneath, which he knew exactly what he was doing.
With the help of bots.
Yes, exactly. It was grim. So, what else happened? Oh yeah. Ipswich Town Football Club. Wow. They got themselves in a whole world of trouble this week by inviting Nigel Farage. Well, at first they didn't invite Nigel Farage. Apparently, when the story broke, Nigel Farage and Reform had booked a stadium tour of Portman Road. But then the next day, absolutely flooded social media with pictures of Ipswich Town's club badge, videos of Farage at the club, Ipswich Town shirts with Farage written on the back, all of which, like, social media went absolutely bananas the whole day about it and forced the club into making a statement about 5 o'clock in the evening, it was, in which they said, we're apolitical, we'll have anybody, basically, we don't pick a side on politics.
We'll take money from anyone.
And then it turned out the next day, in fact, the day after, the Athletic, which is part of the New York Times, it's their sports paper, got a bit of a scoop and written a big article, which I'll put a link to before. What actually turned out was Farage was invited to Portman Road by an associate of Mark Ashton, who's the chairman. He was met by a club executive and then had lunch with Ashton and Luke Warren, the club's COO. The club gifted Farage 6 number 10 Ipswich shirts free of charge. And members of staff, some very senior, have made formal complaints to Ipswich's HR department over the stunt because they were told not to speak of it. It's absolutely ridiculous. So, because they did this statement they put out on social media, and they gathered the club staff together at the same time and told them the same thing. We're apolitical. We don't, but all it turns out is actually that's bollocks. They lied for Farage. They put out all this stuff and then they've been found out to be lying, that it was all set up by the club and the club's chairman, Mark Ashton.
So is he a mate of Farage's, is he? Because that'll be where the link is, won't it?
Yeah, and apparently today Sunderland have invited him to do a stadium tour and do the same thing. That came out this afternoon just before we came on air. He was in Sunderland coincidentally yesterday. But I believe one finance guy put out something I'll try and find later, but saying that the owners of Sunderland FC are linked to Christopher Harborne. So that's interesting.
There we go.
They're just...
Do you know where I can guarantee you he won't be invited? To a football club on Merseyside.
No, he certainly
won't. I can promise you that.
No, he definitely won't. But yeah, it just stinks.
I'd go so far as to include Manchester in that as well, to be honest.
I don't know about City, to be honest. City are owned by
so of course, yeah. Fair dues.
It would not surprise me in the slightest.
And that's Ratcliffe, innit? So, God, yeah, that was bullshit. No, I'll stick with Merseyside then. I was talking nonsense.
About my
Sometimes
club,
I do.
Yeah. No, I know. Unfortunately, like, my club has been bought by Brexiteer fucking Ratcliffe. Anyway, I don't want to talk about him. He really angers me.
That's right. Yeah, Liverpool don't have much better, but
no, better than Ratcliffe in Saudi Arabia.
Oh yeah.
And then the last thing about Reform. Well, there's 2 more things, but one is question time from Clacton-on-Sea last night. Liars
be lying.
Nigel Farage's constituency, in case I'm sure everybody is aware, rumours swirled yesterday that he was invited onto the show, being as it's his constituency, but then turned out he was in Sunderland doing one of his endless rallies.
Paid gigs.
Yeah, but they put on Tom Skinner instead, where they didn't advertise as a Reform member, they advertised as TV celebrity or whatever it was, which is apparently against the corporation's rules because they've done it a few times. They put on Nadine Dorries, didn't they? And they didn't announce her as a Reform member. And there was one other recently, can't remember. Or maybe it was even Matt Goodwin, and they just said academic or something.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah. So I've seen a Conservative MP has been written to the BBC about this, saying you're lying to the public by putting these Reform members on and not telling the public, which is fair because they are. So anyway, I didn't watch it. You watched it, didn't you?
I did. I sort of zoned out towards the end, to be honest, but that might be my sleeping tablets.
Probably.
It's like I said to you before, I'm obviously not a fan of Tom Skinner whatsoever. No. I think he should be like boosted into space, but equally, I don't think in and of himself he's particularly harmful. What I think he is is a Boris-style idiot. And I think because he opened up on Question Time last night, I was quite surprised, talking about how he's worried about all the small family businesses, because obviously that's where he comes from. And he knows a lot of people in the community, and businesses are failing left, right and centre because they can't afford to compete, which we talked about since we started the pod, about how big businesses come along with venture capital and invented all these little new chains to make you think that, oh, there's an independent, but except it's not. It's just another venture capital chain that's happening everywhere with everything.
Yeah.
But Tom Skinner has got no idea about any of this.
No.
And he genuinely thinks the likes of Nigel Farage is going to help small business, when in fact Nigel Farage comes from the self-same people that are industrialising society.
Yeah.
So, in conclusion, I think he's an entitled, useful idiot. I don't think he's a particular, you know,
spiteful,
I can't.
Malign.
I don't. And I think he's just getting used by everybody. Do you know what? I make him sound like a victim, and he isn't. He's a prick. But I do think he's an affable chap. Whatever act he puts on, I do think he's an affable chap. Yeah. And he's just a yes man because he wants to be popular and he wants people like Tommy Robinson to like him. That's what I think.
He's got, yeah, maybe. But I think there's a bit more to him than maybe you're giving him credit for.
Oh no, I think he's a manipulative shit and a criminal. I'm not taking any of that away from him.
Yeah, but he also met up with JD Vance, Danny Kruger, and James Orr in the summer when JD Vance was over. So that sort of circle of JD Vance and the Christian nationalist right with James Orr and Danny Kruger is a really fucking dark one. So, but
I agree
Tom
with
Skinner
you.
was in there straight at he was in like Flynn with them.
Of course, he's like a puppy dog wanting to be popular and get attention and be on TV and be famous.
But I never understood why he was at that particular event. That doesn't make sense to me. Why he was at that particular far right Christian nationalist bit of the visit. He was there. I don't know.
Because he's got a platform. He's got a platform, Don. Yeah, and if they can make him their friend, then they become part of his platform. What I'm saying is, I don't think he's a Russell Brand type. Do you know what I mean? Who's gone full ethno-Christian.
No.
You know, I'm not a rapist, honest gov. Look at my Bible. I don't think he's that type of person, is all I'm saying. I think when the political zeitgeist passes, he'll just still be a bumbling idiot doing what he's doing now.
Disappear often, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, maybe. I hope you're right. I think that's you know, the best we can hope for with him. But anyway, he replaced. So Farage put out a statement saying I wasn't allowed to appear on Question Time because it's my home constituency, which is not true because has been proved time and time again that they have MPs from their own constituency on all the time. What? Go on.
Sorry, I wasn't looking at you when you started saying that, and it sounded like Farage said about you.
What did I?
When you were quoting Farage, it sounded like you were talking about you.
Oh, no. Yeah. No, I've not reached the Farage levels of criticism yet. But yeah, he put out a tweet saying that it was a lie that he was. Sorry, he put out a tweet saying that he couldn't appear. But what the thing is like Question Time normally announced their guests like 2 days in advance, but they had waited and they announced their guests on the afternoon of Thursday. So they were clearly waiting for him to say yes. Go on.
Well, Question Time have got a new rule, like Donald Trump's got a new trophy, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. They put out a correction this morning saying, actually, we don't tend to invite MPs in their home constituencies on. Unless it's a single issue debate. That was their excuse they put out this morning because they were getting hammered left, right and centre on social media.
But even that's a lie.
Yeah, of course it's a lie. The community note on Twitter listed about 8 or 9 different instances of where they have had like MPs, including Giles Watling in Clacton-on-Sea previously, you know. So it's nonsense, and it's
the BBC lie.
It's quite scary, though, isn't it? That the BBC are
going horrible.
into bat for Farage now. You know, literally going in to defend him.
Well, it's a short hop and a skip, isn't it? To like Trump and Netanyahu.
Yeah, it's just fully.
But it is. We're occupied. And I hate
Yeah.
saying it because it sounds insane, but it's where we are.
Yeah, the new Director General, Britain, kind of looked like he was all right at the beginning, and then lots of things have started coming out about him, haven't they? So he's not as the good guy that everyone seemed to think at the beginning, I don't think. But I think we should have another look at him in depth and do a bit more on him later.
Do a deep dive.
Yes, for sure. So the only other thing I've got about Reform this week is I put out a new article yesterday entitled Reform's Raffle Rug Pull, Black Shirt Shenanigans. So I'll link to my article because it's quite long, as most of mine are, but it basically, when Reform's put out for sale in November last year their black football shirts at £349 plus £1 compulsory lottery ticket. Yeah, exactly. It was it's enforced gambling. And within the rules of the small society lotteries, which is what they registered it with Westminster City Council, they had 3-month time limit in which to submit the details of the good cause, which they have not done, and the 3-month time limit to notify the council of the winner, how much was made, and the details of the draw. I submitted a Freedom of Information request asking various questions, including what's their good cause, including who won, how much did they raise, all these things that they're legally obliged to do. Westminster City Council's responses to all of those: information not held. So Reform have not sent them any of this information. So they have performed an illegal lottery. So all they confirmed was 2 things to me. I can confirm that part of the information requested is held by Westminster City Council, and the detail below the information is being released to you. Number 1, a small society lottery was granted to Reform UK on 4th of August 2025, so they applied for it way in advance. And then the 4th point was Reform UK is considered a non-commercial operation. Because part of it, part of the small societies lotteries condition and the gambling commission's conditions on running these is it's supposed to be for a non-commercial entity. Like, it's
a limited company.
It's 2 limited companies. It's just mad. So, yeah, I've just said, despite being registered at Companies House as 2 limited companies, but they didn't register their good cause, state where the 20%, which is what they're supposed to donate to the good cause, has gone, and they have not provided draw details to the council under the rules. So they've run an illegal lottery, and it's been swept under the carpet. No one's asking questions about it apart from me. So I'm going to forward this on to the Gambling Commission and various things next week when I've got a minute, because it stinks. They just break the rules constantly, all the time.
Shouldn't that go to the ethics man?
The ethics committee, parliamentary standards. I'm going to put it up to all of them next week when I've got time to write a proper email, because it's just nuts. And I've got my my contact on Twitter, Mr. X, who helped me write all about their donations last year, has been in touch, and he's been speaking to the parliamentary standards committee about GB News. So we're going to have something on that next week as well, because they're just fucking riding roughshod over everything, and nobody's pulling them up on it.
There's a Tory Lord now entered the fray, hasn't he, up against Hodge.
Oh, who's that?
I say Lord. Might not be a Lord. I'm sure he's a Lord or a former MP. I only saw it earlier. But it's basically head-to-head. He's the Tory candidate. She's the Labour candidate, but she's a mad cryingist. He has history of... I think he was like culture secretary for the Tories or something. Or a culture under-secretary or whatever. I want to say Dan Jarvis, but it's not. I'm making that name up. Sorry.
No, he's Labour MP.
That's exactly why I know I'm making it up. It's just the name's in my brain, and I don't know why.
He's not what I mean. Isn't Dan Jarvis the one that got arrested? I'm pretty sure he is.
Yeah. I don't know why his name just popped up in my head, because it's not related. I'd never actually heard of the guy, to be honest. Graham Pearce? Sorry. No, it can't be Graham Pearce, because I know who he is.
Strike that from the record. Dan Jarvis is not the one who was arrested. Just take that back.
You thinking of Dan Carden? Or is that just another name I'm making up? There's so many players on the pitch. It's very, very difficult to keep track. True.
keep on top of it.
I mean, there's literally like 650 of them, so.
Especially as this isn't our full-time job. If we were getting paid for this full-time, I'd be on it all the time, but because we have other things that have to be happening in our lives. But anyway, sorry. So yeah, that's it. That's Reform Roundup of the week. They've been at it again, and I'm sure they'll be at it again next week. So tune in for more, as they say.
Well, we're short on time, and I've got so much to talk about.
Go.
Do you know what? I'll keep one of them for next week. The one that made me upset earlier.
Okay.
This, I've got a wild story and I've got a lovely story. Which one would you like first?
Let's do wild and end with the lovely one.
Okay. She says. Where have I put the thing here? Bookmarks. Yeah, I thought so. So, here we go. It's from Dropsite. Hold on to your hats, because this is fucking nuts.
Yeah, go.
Report. An Israeli citizen was arrested in Las Vegas after police found a cache of weapons, lab equipment, and more than 1,000 samples of unknown liquids at a home tied to a widening biosecurity investigation, the LA Times reports. Ori Solomon, 55, is accused of illegally possessing firearms and improperly disposing of hazardous waste. Authorities said officers in protective gear removed materials from the home, which were consistent with those found in a separate case in California. That investigation began when a foul smell led officials to a warehouse in Reedley, where they discovered a hidden lab containing thousands of biological samples, 1,000 lab mice, and evidence of at least 20 infectious agents, including SARS, hepatitis, and dengue.
And Ebola, I believe.
Prosecutors. Sorry. This is where I went. What now?
No, I mean it's just mad, but yeah.
Prosecutors say Chinese national Jai Bei Zhu ran a scheme from there, importing COVID tests from China and selling them as American-made, and a congressional report flagged over $1.3 million in unexplained payments from Chinese banks tied to the operation. Investigators found Zhu had listed a Las Vegas house as bail collateral and called it hundreds of times over the past year, making it a key lead that led police to raid the Sugar Springs Drive property where Ori Solomon was identified as the manager. Manager of what?
Yeah, it's really bad. Chemical weapons facility, basically. Yeah. I did read that.
An illegal one.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can't have SARS and fucking Ebola.
Like, what? Like, who, what?
I don't believe even Porton Down's supposed to have those sorts of things in under strictest of high security, but like, let alone out in someone's house in the suburbs in Las Vegas. Jesus.
But then
it's really scary shit.
There's a post underneath it. Sorry, that post came from, I should say, that post. Oh, it did say Dropsite. Reported by the LA Times as well.
Yeah, I think that's where I was.
And it's saying that this Ori Solomon faced federal gun charges and state charges tied to an illegal biolab. He was released by the magistrate judge. Prosecutors did not seek detention.
What?
Somebody else who was arrested, who's an Israeli person, was arrested in a Nevada child sex sting on a felony state charges, posted bail in return to Israel.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And there's a list of people that did not get charged.
No, it's mad.
Frightening.
It's really, really fucking scary because you can't have things like SARS and Ebola out in the sort of general public. That's just mad. It's just...
Look, what else did he have? Do you know what I mean? Just,
well, yeah. I mean, what is there that he's holding on to, and who's supplying this, who's making this, or who's financing this sort of thing? Because this isn't an independent, I'm just going to go and make some Ebola in my garage sort of thing.
You've just reminded me, and this may or may not be linked, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But I did hear the other day that Iran did manage to target an ICL plant in Israel that was the sole producer of white phosphorus, which is nice. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
How can you not appreciate someone who does that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I also saw something one thing just sort of linked on that because it's kind of the same region. I think it was in California, Bankhurst Air Base, which is where the B-52 bombers sit when they're in America. They're over here down the road at the moment. But about a month ago, it came out. It only came out yesterday properly in the press that many, like loads of drones had been able to intercept this airbase and get inside and just fly around and just look at everything. And they were long-range drones, and they believe they were Iranian kind of piloted drones, but they were just flying willy-nilly around the airbase in America, like looking at their planes and stuff. And like
bit like Cash Patel's inbox.
Yes, that's a one for next week. But yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
Sorry. Yeah,
kind of feels like a wasted opportunity.
Lots of stuff coming out of America that's quite scary that we're not really hearing much about until quite far down the line. But yeah.
Well, I mean, America are the one country that can't really put a news blackout up, isn't there?
True. Too much going on.
I mean, that really would lead straight to civil war. I think we're all agreed on that.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Get out.
I mean, he's doing his level best because, you know, him and his mate Larry Ellison and Jared Kushner have bought Warner Brothers now as well, because Netflix wanted it, but they've bought Warner Brothers because it is part of owns CNN, and they want to shut down CNN effectively. So, because Nazi tactics.
It's very concerning.
Which is a hint to my forthcoming article, but we'll get back to that. Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Shall I finish on my nice story?
Yeah. What's your last story?
I caught a tweet by Dr. Mohammed Hamad. And he brings us news that a Swedish billionaire donated 800 million kroner to Gaza, the largest support of its kind through UNICEF. So we found a good one.
I know. That's really, really nice, isn't it?
Swedish businessman Roger Akelius has announced a massive donation of 800 million Swedish krona to support the Gaza Strip through UNICEF in a remarkable humanitarian step considered one of the largest ever. According to the Swedish newspaper Expressen and other Swedish news websites, this support will be channeled through the Akelius Foundation, with the aim of supporting the education sector in Gaza amid the difficult conditions faced by children there. The report explained that this amount could help build hundreds of schools, as the cost of constructing a school that accommodates around 250 students while providing education and meals for several years is estimated at only a few million kroner, meaning thousands of children could benefit. Somebody whose name I can't read, who's head of the foundation, I don't know how to do lots and stuff, also confirmed that the donation could contribute to building up to 400 schools, providing broad education opportunities for children in the sector. Yeah, so when true humanity shines, money becomes a means rather than an end, and values triumph over interests. An inspiring initiative that reminds us that giving can truly make a difference to the lives of thousands of children.
Fantastic.
Just imagine if they all did that. I know.
If they all, I just looked it up as well. 800 million krona Swedish is $84,478,902 US. That's fucking huge. That's massive.
Well, not for a billionaire. It's a lot.
No, but still, I mean, $84 million. It's going to go a long way, as you just highlighted.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think it's fabulous.
News. Yeah, it's brilliant. Well done. Good on you.
So,
whatever your name was. Is it RV? What's his name?
I've closed it down now.
Oh.
Akelius?
I'll write it down. I'll put it in the show notes.
I'll send you the link.
Yeah, no, that's good news. Good news story.
I feel very rude now. I'm just very absent-minded.
No, it's fine. Yeah.
Roger Akelius. There we go.
That's it. Yeah, more of that behaviour, please, from our ever-growing billionaire class.
More Rogering. Back to Viz.
I think Viz was in the last episode, but we've had to bring it into this one now. So
it's the hat. I can't help myself. I feel like militant.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
That's good. Yeah, nice to end on a chuckle again, because we need to.
So
yeah.
I'm off down to London tomorrow. Well, I'll say tomorrow, in a few hours.
Yeah,
For the Together March.
Yeah, hope that should go well, shouldn't it?
I haven't got a whistle, but I have got a selfie stick, so there's that.
Good. Yeah, there's not going to be much trouble or anything. It should be a joyful kind of family day out, really. So,
yeah. Claire's going.
Is she? Oh, good.
Yeah.
The weather looks all right. A bit chilly, but not raining. So
yeah, I'm gonna layer up.
Yeah, I would. But
keep me out.
Brilliant. Have a good time.
Keep me air dry.
And we'll look forward to a report on the next episode.
Yeah, be like,
yeah, knackered.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, that'd be good. So,
yes.
Yeah. So let's wrap it up there for our second episode of today.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Hope you're well and that you have a great weekend.
Yeah, have a brilliant weekend, everyone. I'll get this out on Patreon tonight, Saturday for the rest of you. And yeah, have a great weekend. We'll see you next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.